What's hiding underneath things can be scary. Underwater, under your bed, especially what's under your carpet. Except when you get new carpet from Carpet One Floor and Home. After tearing up your old carpet, they'll vacuum and apply Health Annex antimicrobial to your subfloor, disinfecting and killing mold, mildew, and any remaining general awfulness. Carpet One Floor and Home goes the extra mile to protect you, your family, and your home. Carpet One Floor and Home in Columbia, making your home beautiful, guaranteed.
Good morning. Welcome to Radio Friends on Tuesday, October the 4th. We're going to talk about computers and the internet today. And I've got an expert with us, Robert Ricketts from ITCOMO. Good to have you here.
Thanks,
Robert.
Paul. Good to be back.
Today, you wanted to talk about home computers and the elderly. Are you talking about me? Because I fall into that elderly category?
Well, you seem like you're pretty on the ball today, so maybe not.
All right. But as we grow older, statistics show as we grow older, the chances of us falling for a scam are a lot better.
Yes,
and you got to be careful with the computer and the internet.
That's right.
You want to give us some examples?
Yeah,
there?
certainly. So, of course, we've all seen the email scams and whatnot. But as folks get a little bit older and maybe start to develop mild cognitive impairment, then their guard against scams and other frauds are not going to be as good. And they may not have been that good anyway. Most older folks today maybe didn't have computers when they were kids. Maybe they've only been using them in the last 20 years or so and didn't have that lifelong experience with computers.
I know exactly what you're talking about, because I guess I've been using a computer maybe 30 years, maybe not even 30 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a geek's been using them since the 70s, but
No.
normal
I think
people,
mine
pretty
is
much the
probably
90s. Yeah.
30 years or less. I remember when I got that first computer, I was totally dumbfounded.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you do? And of course, it was dial-up. And
yes, right.
And it made all these strange sounds. It was a compact computer, and it clicked and ticked away. I didn't know how this worked, and I can imagine people who are somewhat confused about what's going on.
That's right.
In the digital world.
And back then, the computer really couldn't cause you any harm. It didn't really connect to anything except maybe that dial-up. But today, the computer is a artery onto the world with all of the crime and different types of fraud that are out there, and a lot of people waiting to take advantage of folks who. Yeah.
So what's our first line of defense?
So one line of defense is some folks will reach a point, just like we're driving a car is unsafe. Maybe using a regular computer is now no longer as safe. So a tablet, for example, either an Android tablet or an iPad, that can have some security features built in that maybe their regular computer doesn't. That's one possibility. But email is also a way where people can be contacted. So what I recommend for the children of my elder clients is maybe develop an email shadowing policy with their elder. And that just means that they can access their same email account. Maybe they can configure their email, the elder person's email, to forward a copy of everything they receive to their kids' accounts. And then the kids can just take a quick look and see if there's a fraud developing.
Okay, but you want to get the
Absolutely.
You want to get their permission.
Of course you do.
You want to get their permission.
Yes.
You don't want to just go in there and reconfigure the computer without telling mom and dad.
That's right. No, of course, this is all with permission and completely above board. That's one possibility where financial crimes can come into play. Some banks may offer the ability to have extra precautions on a senior's account, and that's something worth checking into. Well, to prevent abnormal transactions from taking place. For instance, large outgoing wire transfers. There's no reason a 75-year-old needs to wire out $20,000, generally speaking.
So financial institutions can put extra
They could. I mean, I can't speak for any particular bank and whether or not they offer that feature, because this is not something I do per se. But these are the kind of things to look at when trying to protect an elder from the kind of computer-based crimes that could come into their home.
Okay.
Yes.
What would be the most common computer-based crime that you see or have seen?
Well, it's going to be coming in through email. It's going to be a fraudulent email that's asking the elder to do something. And there are any number of ways that these scams can be worded. And on my website, I have an article entitled Computers and the Elderly, and it talks about many of the kinds of crimes that can happen through email.
Okay, so if you go to your website, it's www.itcomo.com.
That's right.
Look for...
Click on the articles link. It's just at the very top, and then in that page you'll see a page about elderly and computers. So all those bullet points, those are just an example of the different kinds of emails that a person may receive.
What else?
Well, so those are the big ones, but we talked about the iPad, for example. As folks get a little bit older and maybe aren't quite as familiar with the computer itself, then the iPad presents an easier interface. Folks can do most everything they need on an iPad that they could have done on their regular computer, but there's less technical problems, there's far fewer errors on an iPad. The thing just works.
And what about on your phone? You can do almost everything on the phone.
That's true, but the phones are generally pretty small screens.
Right.
The iPad, you have this nice larger screen, but yet it's very light and portable, so you can take it wherever you want in your house.
So you're saying that the iPad or the Android... I use Android.
That's
tablet.
fine. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are more secure than the computer itself?
That's right. They're more secure, but they're also easier to use, presenting less complexity to the user. So the less familiar someone is with their technology or becomes less familiar as cognition impairments increase, that might be an easier device to use, just pushing buttons.
Okay, here's a question for you. Why is it that we subscribe for the McAfee and the security on the computer, but we don't put that same security on our phones and tablets?
Right, that's a great question. Because the computers, like Windows, for example, by their very nature, that operating system is open and not very secure because they were developed 40 years ago.
Before everybody would...
Yes, and before a lot of these security concerns became a problem. Mobile devices that we have today are designed with security in mind. And so the operating systems on these mobile devices are more,
so they're
just
more
inherently
secure,
more
and
secure.
It's not necessary to pay for the extra security.
No, that's correct.
Okay, we've got about 20 seconds left. Anything else you want to mention?
So if you do have an elder that uses their computer, be invested in how they're using that machine. Talk to them, see what they're doing,
and perhaps invest in an iPad or an Android tablet, which is a lot more secure.
That's right. To
okay.
help keep them safe online.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about this, go to his website. Go to that website. It's www.itcomo.com, and look for that article on the elderly and computers.
That's right.
And all the information you need will be there.
Exactly.
I need to read that since I fall into that category. I do think I have caught several scam emails that I've just deleted.
Yep.
Thank you, Robert. Richard, I appreciate it. Robert
Certainly.
Ricketts.
Great to be
here. Okay,
Thank you.
ITCOMO.com. Bye-bye.